What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Enter the Lab. We missed y'all. I mean, it's Thanksgiving. We had to go eat. I had to unbig my back a little bit and all of that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? But we're back. We're going to talk about this college football playoffs. We're going to talk about the NFL, and literally, I don't know what's going on with my Falcons, to be honest with you. But we're going to talk about that too. So make sure y'all tune in. Stay tuned in because it's End of the Lab. Baby. What's up? What's up? Okay, I don't like this view, but what's up?
What's going on? What's going on, Lady E? Happy holidays to you. It's been a while since I've seen you. Hope you had a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Man, glad to be back on Enters the Lab. What's going on?
I know, man. I did. I had a good Thanksgiving. I made my famous pink lemonade. Secret, but yeah, just know my cousin fell down the stairs.
No.
Well, hey,
it must have been a good drink. It
was because I made it, but no, we was watching the Detroit Lions. Shabuzi was on, so she was at the bar. I ain't gonna say she was at the bar, but she was at my house getting tipsy.
That's all right. That's what Thanksgiving and family time is for, man. This is definitely one of those holidays, man. Definitely glad that you got a chance to spend some time with your family, but I'm glad to be back, man. And as you can see, we're gonna talk about a lot of beautiful things today. Y'all. He has been on 10. He has been on 10. Say it with me. 10 about this win. So we're going to let him start off with this win. I'm gonna let him get it off his chest, and then we're gonna go dive into some more college football. Okay, but you got the floor, Hen. Go ahead. I'm not gonna keep the people too long, man. You know what I'm saying? We got an important night of football tonight, so I'm not gonna keep you too long. But I just want to dedicate this one to our wonderful co-host, Mr. DT, man. Mr. DT, I just want to say, man, this is a wonderful, wonderful victory for the Michigan Wolverines. And, this little reign of dominance so far, these last 4 games has been beautiful, man. No one saw this one coming, though. This one is really extra sweet. Viewership was down on this game. No one really saw this one coming, man. And again, this is a big win for us. And a down year after winning the Natty, but hey, 7-5. We won our 2 rivalry games. We got a great recruiting class, number 6 overall class coming in. So the future is bright at Michigan, and hopefully we can continue, this run on you guys. Hey, man, ain't nothing wrong with Ryan Day. He seems to win every other game that he coaches. So y'all just keep him in place, keep him where he at. Y'all good, man. Best of luck, not really, in the college football playoff. But yeah, y'all suck. Yes, go blue.
All right. So with that being said, yes, that Ohio State and Michigan game was a shocker. But I will have to say this. Ohio State has been playing good football all season, but they kind of look a little bit rough in certain games and certain avenues, especially at the beginning of the ball game. And that's one thing when you got a team as hungry as Michigan that know for a fact we already beat y'all 3 years in a row, we can make it a 4th year in a row. It's all there. So again, shout out to y'all. Michigan showed that even though it may be a down year, still don't count them out. I know there was a lot of question when you're paying $20 million for a team that you put together and you couldn't get that back on your home turf. Like, I get it. I understand a lot of questions around it.
Quarterback. He didn't even throw for 70 yards against y'all.
Hey, I mean, Ohio State lost to another quarterback, but we're not going to talk about that.
I was supposed to be really, really upset today. You know what I'm saying? I had already really got my resignation speech, you know what I'm saying, together, but Davis Warren, Peyton Leary.
Hey, like I said, it was like, again, it was a good game, but you saw the miscues, you saw the mishaps, you saw the lack, I would say, of confidence on Ohio State side, especially on offense. I mean, Michigan had its times and different things where they did. I feel like it was a good game. Both of them showed a little bit of weakness in there when it came down to both sides of the ball. But again, better team won. So we'll see how Ohio State does.
Like look, say it one more time, lady. Who won?
I just said the better team won. I mean, but football is played every in college it's played on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, even some Tuesday games. But every Saturday it's any given Saturday is like it's any given Sunday. So let's keep that with that. So now we have got into our rankings. They do.
Not more than us. Not more than us.
You know what? We're not going to get into that. But
I don't know who else, but not more than us. That's for damn self. Hell.
But no. So we are now in champion. First of all, South. We are on college football. I will holler at you in a minute about that. Don't go nowhere, South. Don't go nowhere.
You don't get to Kirk
yeah, but you know Washington Commanders fans are always looking for me. It's okay. They, I don't hide though. But we got champ week, we got championship week, we got the SEC, the ACC. Well, we got all the championship games, but we're going to talk about the top four, just to kind of save time just a little bit. With that, I'm going to mention the Mountain West Conference with UNLV versus Boise State, where you have that one with there to see who gets into the bye. But the main four that we are talking about and that we're going to mention, it's going to be the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and the ACC, because some of these championships have implications on where some of these other teams that are sitting there are going to fall. As we know, the playoff committee chair, Manuel, basically said,
I'm my cousin.
Okay, well, you know what? But anyway, he basically said a lot of the teams who are not playing this week in their championship games are kind of staying put because they don't have the data point to kind of move them around. So it is going to be detrimental for some of these teams that are playing, especially I know my team specifically. But it's going to be kind of detrimental when it comes down to some of these teams. Now, Henry, we did talk before we went on break about the Big 12. So I'm going to start there first. The Big 12, we have Iowa State versus Arizona State. Now, here's the issue. A lot of people thought Colorado was going to make it because due to Big 12 tiebreakers, it knocked them out because of their gameplay against some of the common opponents that was with the case Kansas. I think it was Kansas and Kansas State were the main two that they were comparing against. So you got Iowa State and Arizona. Now, we said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I don't see the Big 12 getting no more than one team in. One. Conference wasn't that strong this year, unfortunately. So whoever the winner is of this game gets that automatic bye, and the other team gets to go play in a bowl game. What are your thoughts about that with the Big 12?
Big 12, I'm cool with that. I kind of felt the same way that you felt. I thought the conference was a little bit light. I think them and the ACC are going to have a similar argument. They're called P4 conferences, but they're really not seen in the same, the same footing as the SEC or the Big 10, unfortunately, right now. But with that being said, I mean, Colorado had a chance to get into this playoff. They did lose a third game. They're 9-3. I think the other two programs are 10-2. So they had a shot. And I think if they would have gotten into this situation, it is a possibility that the Big 12 could possibly squeeze a second team in. But as of right now, I think the winner of this game, being that you said Iowa State and Arizona State, they're 15th and 16th currently in the CFP ranking. So they're really outside of the 12, both of them. So even with them winning, they're gonna push. They can possibly. Well, I'm not gonna say they're gonna possibly put someone down, but they did kind of account for them for the one spot. So yeah, I think one team makes it in for the Big 12 to kind of get back to your point. Yep, and I do support it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, the Big 12 gets they figure themselves out next year to possibly be one of the teams that have at least more than one. But luckily, they're not shut out completely. They're just going to be, in a sense, and it's kind of funny because it's a Pac-12 team that's actually being able to get recognized with Arizona State if Arizona State does win. So that's something to take note of. Now, let's go to the Big Ten because I'm going to save these last two for last. Let's go to the Big Ten. We got Oregon versus Penn State. Now, we know Penn State dodged the bullet by not playing y'all this year. They dodged the bullet. They only played Ohio State, took that one only L instead of taking that 2 L. So they dodged the bullet, but they still have to go up against Oregon. Now, Oregon is a good team all the way around. I like Oregon. I like how they played Ohio State, but they only did win by 1. So I don't trust Penn State. Please do not think I'm trusting Penn State. I'm not trusting Penn State. But can we say that Oregon is ready for Penn State?
You know what? I'm gonna give Oregon the benefit of the doubt in this game, and it's funny that you talked about Arizona State, being the basically the representative in the Big 12, possibly coming from the Pac-12. Oregon's done the same thing, in the Big Ten. I think that Coach Lanning has them a little bit more adjusted and ready for big time football. I mean, they were in the race last year as well. They got great talent, and I think that the thing that's going to help hold Penn State back in this game is their quarterback play. They just really haven't had a special quarterback there in a really, really long time. John Franklin hasn't really shown that he can. Coach Franklin, I don't want to say his first name wrong. I'm kind of all over the place right now. But Coach Franklin hasn't shown that he can win in the big games. So I think it's going to be an interesting match. But I think that Oregon does pull this game out. I think it's going to be interesting to see all these games, the results of the losers. Will they remain in the top 12 or and how it affects the seeding? So interesting game.
Yeah, because y'all have 4, right? Y'all have.
Well, we think we got 4. We think we got 4. We think I think Oregon, Ohio State, and Penn State are locks. I think Indiana, again, based on what the manual said, they're not playing this week. They're locked in at 8. Maybe they stay there. I do want to push back on what Ward Manuel said, but it'll be while we talk about another games. I do think there's another chance for possibly some movement of some teams and possibly maybe knock out one of those teams later in the.
And then this is where the knockout can happen. ACC, SMU versus Clemson. So there has been the argument about that. We heard about Miami getting upset, saying that they were better than the SEC. Well, Miami, you lost to Georgia Tech. You turned around and lost to Syracuse. And then let's talk about those close calls against it wasn't Virginia State, Virginia,
I want to say
Cal.
And
Cal. So y'all could be a little bit worse than what technically y'all are. So I think they took that into account with the situation, and looking at Alabama, even though I hate to say this, they have a little bit more wins when it comes down to people that were ranked with that. And that Georgia win is actually helping them. So y'all are welcome. That Georgia win is actually helping. But there is the conversation that if Clemson wins, where does that put Alabama? You know what I'm saying?
So I'm great point. I'm 100% with you, and this is definitely the game that I feel like can kind of shake things up because, first of all, like I said earlier, I think the ACC and the Big 12 don't get the respect that the SEC and the Big 10 do. We see it in the beginning of the rankings when I told you guys a couple weeks ago that we could possibly see a 3-loss team in the playoff. It was probably going to be a team from the SEC or the Big 10 for a couple of reasons. You have 3 losses. It's going to be hard to build a strong case for you, but your case has to be filled with quality wins versus somebody. The Big 10 and the SEC, either from preseason rankings or during the course of the season, you're going to see 7-8 teams minimally ranked. You're going to have opportunities 7 or 8 times during that season to get L's, and that's not going to be teams that are ranked lower. You're going to have a team like you're going to possibly get a chance to play a Texas or Georgia or Ole Miss or Texas A&M, LSU, however the case may be. You're going to play some high-level teams, mid-level teams, and lower-level ranked teams, and plus with those tough mid-tier teams as well. And I think people really, the committee really values those schedules. What has to happen with Miami, they don't really, I can't really name a signature win for them. When you look at the ACC and what happened with Florida State last year, they lost the game, and I think Florida State's resume was much stronger than what Miami's was this year. Now again, it's 4 teams versus 12, of course, but you look at the 2 losses. Georgia Tech is a solid team, but they're not a ranked team. Syracuse is kind of on the lower end. You didn't play at SMU. Did they play Clemson? Did they beat Clemson?
I don't think they played Clemson.
So if you haven't, let me just make sure. Yeah, they didn't play Clemson and they didn't play SMU. So if you haven't played the best 2 conference, you're not playing in your conference championship game this week. You've lost 2 games that can be considered somewhat bad loss. Syracuse, maybe not so much. Georgia Tech's bad loss. You don't have any good wins when you have a team like Alabama who does, like I said, can stack up 3 or 4 quality wins. They have a couple bad losses as well, but they've got that good win over Georgia. And even the eye test, if you ask me between SMU, Clemson, and Alabama, who do I think will win a game between those 3, I would probably say I'm probably still rolling with Alabama. But with that being said, to your scenario, I think if SMU loses, that gives them 2 losses in a close game. They can't get blew out. Now, you can't get out there 35-14. You can't get your skirt pulled up out there, SMU, if you're going to lose. If you're going to lose, it's got to be an epic game, tight game, and possibly at that point, because your only other loss, I believe they lost to BYU, which is ranked, I believe, later in the top, in the lower 20, 25, part of the 20 to 25 area. Still a quality loss. I think they can possibly bump a team like Alabama from that 12th spot, and possibly the ACC could get a second team in the playoff. That's a great point that you made, and I'm 100% with you.
Yeah, because I think what the scenario is that if SMU goes in and win, Alabama could stay in because Clemson is not going to make it at all.
Right.
They're not gonna, because that'll be their 3rd loss, and because of their schedule that they played is not going to give them enough points to push them up into the college football playoffs at all. So the whole scenario is Clemson has to win to be able to get in at that way. But then, like, the question would be, where would you put SMU without only being that 2nd loss?
Now this is where it gets interesting, because we're looking at, and I'm with that. I think SMU being 9th, where we're talking about 9th, losing a close game to Clemson. Again, where they don't get blew out, they should probably be able to bump Alabama. But has SMU earned enough, how do we say it, equity, if you will, to be looked at as a true Power 4 team? Or are we still going to look at them as a team coming from the American Conference? You know what I'm saying? Here's another team coming from another consolidated conference who is playing in the championship game, but this team is coming from a group of 5. So how is the committee going to look at them? Are they going to say, well, you know what? They lost a close game to Clemson, but if we do the eye test, if we look at the eye test and say, who's the better team between Alabama and SMU, do we think that SMU is really the better team? That's where it's going to get interesting.
But this is where they're going to do the compare and contrast of who has Alabama played against SMU. Because again, I'm not going to lie to you, Alabama has been very inconsistent on the season. When you have lost against Vandy's and then you go and only score 3 against Oklahoma, a team that's only at 500, that literally didn't have anything to lose. Let's be honest. Oklahoma did not have anything to lose. They just came into the SEC, really didn't have a tough schedule per se with them coming into the SEC, but compared to Texas, it was a little bit tougher because Texas did have a light schedule, I'm going to be honest with you. But when you're looking at that type of situation and you're looking at who has Alabama played, that's probably going to knock SMU out, because really SMU hasn't played a real life top-notch person. I mean, if you want to include Florida State, but by the time they played them, Florida State wasn't even ranked.
We can't include Florida State. Florida State like 2-9 or something. We can't include Florida State. They have a win over Louisville, which is no longer ranked. They have a win over Pitt. I don't know if Pitt is any longer ranked. And then they play Clemson. They need this win. They need this win a lot. They have the close loss to BYU. Otherwise, They don't really have a signature win. What I will say is that they have dominated for the most part. Pitt was 18th when they played them fairly late in the year. They dominated that game 48-25. The Louisville game was a close game, 34-27. Florida State is pretty bad this year, 42. They beat them 42-16. Yeah, that's where it's going to be interesting. 8-0 in the conference, 11-1 overall. Clemson 7-1 in the conference. I don't know, man. That might be the argument. That may be the argument that we'll be looking at next week.
Now, the game is played at 8 p.m., so we're not going to know anything until 8 p.m. at the start.
I really feel like if Clemson, because I want SMU, I kind of want SMU in there to see what they would do. Because I still kind of look at them as a group of 5 team myself. I hate to say it, but if Clemson wins, I kind of want to keep SMU in there. You know what I'm saying? I kind of, you know what? And let's talk briefly. I'm sorry. Are we going to talk about the other championship game, the Mountain West championship? Yeah. Have we talked about that one?
No, we're because we're again. Because,
I want to talk about Boise too, because the Big 12, the gentleman had a lot to say about Boise as a group of 5 team, even though they're 11-1. He was saying that he didn't understand how they were going to be ranked higher than any of their team, the champion from their league. So as we go into that game, I think they played UNLV, which is ranked 19. So this is another highly contested ranked game here. How do you see Boise State stacking up again in this game and also against some of the other teams in the playoff?
To see you like this, Boise State got to win if they expect to be in. I'll be honest with you.
Oh yeah, they have no room for error.
Yeah, they have to win. And then how they're gonna stack up, that is, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how Indiana's gonna stack up. If you couldn't even, do what you needed to do against Ohio State, how can you really stack up to a team? Because if the playoffs were to end today, that will be a home game at the University of Georgia. So you're on the road playing a hostile environment.
I don't know if they can mess with Georgia. I don't know if they can mess with Georgia. That's
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like it's going to come down to where some of these teams are going to stack up. But again, we gotta kind of look at it too with how it's going to play out, especially for a team like Boise.
So are you now? Let me ask you, because you're a Georgia fan. And we haven't talked about the SEC game yet. You didn't say that one conveniently for last over here. First of all,
because it's a rematch. It's a rematch.
Boise and UNLV. How do you see that one? You said they have to win. Do you see them winning, or what's your take? Not your take.
I haven't really seen UNLV really per se, but with UNLV being ranked 19, I'm going to take it that they're a good all-around football team. That's going to probably give Boise State some challenge. But again, it's a championship game. I expect it to be very competitive. I don't expect it to be a blowout. But if UNLV comes and punch Boise State in the mouth, that's it. Because in that last and final spot goes to whoever's the highest ranking team from whatever other conference. But let alone if they don't have any other ones that rank higher than another one, then you're going to see another team from the SEC or Big Ten or possibly ACC sneak in there.
Yeah. I kind of want to see boys. I want to see Mr. John T, whatever his name is. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I want to see him run that rock against some big boys. I want to see if he is the truth. Everything on tape looks great, you know what I mean? But I want to see, because I'm not gonna lie, the numbers alone and what he's doing, even though I know Travis Hunter's having a wonderful year. To me, it's a tight race. I would even throw score in there as well for that Heisman. But the punishment that a running back takes, I don't know. I always cheer for the underdog too, so I don't know. I don't want to seem like I'm hating on Travis or anything like that. I would like to see him compete against some of these bigger schools in this playoff and see if he can really put that team, on their back and see if he can.
I want to say the same thing for Travis Hunter. I'm not saying that they didn't compete against nobody in the Big 12, but the Big 12 was a down year. So I do want to see them up against a Big 10 team, a SEC team, a ACC team. I do want to see Travis Hunter against that. I mean, I'm not going to say there was any bad competition really in the Big 12, but compared to some of these other conferences, it was kind of down this year. So I do want to see. I did want to see how he would look against like a Oregon. You know, can he play both sides of the ball against Oregon or even an Ohio State or Alabama? Like, I want to see what that looks like. You know what I'm saying? So we're kind of getting we're 1-for-1 right now because we'll get to see more than likely Colorado will play a good bowl game against a good team, so we actually probably see it unless they're going to sit out. If they sit out, then
he came out and said that he being Dion came out and said there's no opt out. So I think that's going to be interesting. I think this whole thing really, to be honest with you, I think this whole thing was really about a money grab. We very rarely can come up with 4 teams that we think are worthy of playing in this playoff. We usually have 2 teams in a possible, and then we have a 4th, 2 or 3 teams vying for that 4th spot. Let alone, I mean, we really have 5 or 6, let alone 12. So I feel like they really just brought in the New Year's 6 bowls, brought them basically, brought them to campuses, got the teams together because they're going to be competing for a championship per se. Now we're going to probably have less opt-outs. So now you're going to still have an attractive product to sell.
yeah.
So this is a money grab. It's still going to be interesting to watch. I think there are going to be a lot of folks who are not going to, who are going to participate because this gives them a chance to go out there and compete against some great talent out there. But I'm eager to see what happens to the other bowls. I know Deion said it's not going to be any opt-outs, but what is the motivation for Travis and Shador and Shiloh to go out there and win games and play? But let's see how it works out. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, because I do want to see it. I want to see it. It's interesting to see.
And let's move to this Texas Georgia game because you said it's a rematch, and it is definitely a rematch. And I saw that Texas, they definitely lost the first game somewhat handily. How do you foresee this rematch going? Similar to the first game, or are there going to be some changes?
It's going to be some changes. There's going to be definitely some changes. Right now it's a give or take because we all know in the NFL, let alone in college, it's kind of hard to beat the same team that you played once again. It's kind of hard to do that. So if we do, I don't see Georgia falling out of the college football playoff. Our situation is really not a win and we're win and we're in. It's more of a win and we're just probably going to be on the road rather than playing at home. And I don't think Georgia wants to do that, to be honest with you. I don't think that's a thing. And Kirby knows.
Before we go any further, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I want to make sure that's clear. So you think if y'all get that 3rd loss, y'all better than Alabama, that y'all ain't gonna be on no bubble, that y'all is in there, y'all locked in there. You better than.
I'll be honest. I mean, technically, when we ended the season,
you better than the people in Tuscaloosa. Say it.
I mean, we've been better than the people in Tuscaloosa. I mean, they let us come back after having us up 28-0. So we only lost by 7. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with saying we're better than the people in Tuscaloosa. And because it's funny that they showed up to play us, but then y'all go lose to Vandy in Oklahoma. If we would have, I put it like this: if we really woke up and played for that Ole Miss game, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation in a sense when it comes down to it. But again, you got to look at it. It's hard to win in the SEC on the road. That's number one. We showed that by beating the Texas, but when you really look at our games and really look at what we played and how we played throughout the season, it's like the only 2 losses we had were against those teams. Okay. But it was on the road. I could see if it was at home and it was like a major blowout. But, you can't never count Georgia out. I'm not going to count Georgia out of this game, but yeah, the team that really didn't mind is the team that don't belong in there is Notre Dame, but that's just me. I don't want to see them. I don't trust them.
Now, Notre Dame, they're kind of like on the independent, but they got a little bit somewhat of an ACC schedule.
And they didn't play nobody.
That's a bad loss to Northern Illinois for sure. They played Georgia Tech. They beat them. Louisville was ranked when they beat them. They blew out Purdue, which is nobody. Texas A&M, they beat them. Army, which was ranked, they beat them. Stanford, they had some really standout performances. They beat Navy pretty much handily. I don't have a problem with Notre. I don't think the schedule was overly tough. I don't have a problem with them being in somehow, some way. They're not going to host the game because I think they can't not be in the top 5 because they didn't win the conference. They're not going to have a first round bye.
The highest they can be ranked is number 5 in the playoff.
Yeah.
In the playoff.
I think if you guys win that game, you guys are going to get a bye. I think you guys can get into the bye lane.
We'll get a bye, and I'll be fine with that. Let my team rest. But I mean, I technically didn't want to be in this conference championship any goddamn me way. I wanted to rest this week and see y'all next week in the playoffs. That's what I wanted. But somebody could not win.
Yeah, it was tough, man. This year, man. Listen. We don't know how to rebound from this natty stuff. It ain't happened to us, too often. So I mean, we just kind of, we going and learning. So but we'll see next year.
Yeah, paying that quarterback all that money, he better come sit over here and win y'all championship.
I hope so.
That's all I gotta say.
I hope so.
Paying that man all that money. Y'all over here looking like Ohio State, but it's okay though. I know y'all need a quarterback. It's all right.
We looking like all those teams in the SEC, but just everybody know about it now.
Excluding Georgia, we don't pay to play. That's
we
one thing
like
we do
all
not
the
do.
teams down there. You know what I'm saying?
Nope, that's one thing Georgia do not do. Which a lot of fans get on Kirby about it, about throwing out money, but there's a lot of things that Georgia did not. We do not pay you to play. If you want to come play for the University of Georgia out here in Athens, Texas, then come play. Just know that you ain't finna get no $10 million.
Come on now. I don't know about
just know you ain't finna get no $10 million. I'll tell you that right now.
Let me ask you this though, because I did see that my man little ATN's brother is going to the transfer portal. So is he not participating in the playoff, or how's that work?
Oh, wait a minute, hold on. I didn't hear that.
I hope it wasn't a false rumor. I hope I didn't get the wrong. I hope nobody.
Look, wait a minute, because I'm like, wait a minute. Now I stay up on Georgia news now. I didn't hear about him going to.
I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
Are you talking about Julian Humphrey?
It was Etienne for sure. Little Etienne.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm mistaken. I might be mistaken.
Because I know the only one that we got going to the portal right now from us is going to be Julian Humphrey. Okay. Yeah, no, he's not going into the portal.
Okay. All right. I thought Trevor. That's his name? Trevor. My bad.
Yeah.
Bad. He came from Florida. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't hear that. Now that would have been major news.
I saw that today. Maybe it was a false report, but I saw that it was on the timeline, so maybe it was inaccurate. Let's transition to the NFL.
Probably some hating Florida fans. I see y'all. It's okay. But no, let's transition. This is why, let's see here. All right, we're going into the NFL. We're going to look at these divisions. First of all, I'm going to start off with this. ATL is not frauds. It's just the simple fact of the matter is we're not getting the best of Kirk Cousins in the start of December. Well, late November, start of December.
So it's definitely, I wanted to talk about that division. We can start off with the NFC South since you took it there. Some interesting divisions because you guys had a nice little league. Tampa Bay was beat up. I kind of stopped watching what was going on over there. But now I see Tampa Bay has kind of rebounded. They kind of, have caught up or whatever. You talk about Kirk, but I think he's definitely got to get better and play better, no doubt about it. He's got a lot of weapons around him. He's got to get those guys the football. He's been late, not seeing the field very well. But what do you think about your defense, though? Because I've also seen that they haven't been able to get a lot of pressure. You guys traded for Matthew Judon earlier in the season. You were hoping for some more turnovers. You got Justin Simmons back there in that defensive backfield. How do you feel about the defense this year?
Defense definitely can play better, but it shows you the concerns what we have as Falcon fans been saying since the beginning that we needed a couple of extra pieces on that line. And it doesn't help too when we played Denver that we had a lot of injuries playing Denver as well, specifically on that defense. So again, it's I mean, this past game, defense showed out. We had 5 sacks. Defense showed out. They did what they were supposed to do. But offense couldn't keep up and kind of keep them in the game. Because to be honest with you, they really didn't score like a touchdown. They mainly like kicked field goals on us a little bit. So when it comes down to it, and I'm looking at it, again, is just showing that Kirk is either not trusting himself. Number one, he's not playing like the Kirk we knew, and again, a lot of people are calling for Michael Penix to come out and play, but I'm just like, again, we still have an opportunity to not one make the playoffs, but to still kind of win the division with that. So I don't think it's time to put him out right now. Now, I will say this. If Kirk just stinks it up again and we lose again, then I could see them possibly putting out Penix probably in the law. But I'm still going to be a fan to say, look, if you're going to put him out there, please make sure that one, like his left side is protected. I mean, not left side, right side is protected, and that he has that chemistry with the receivers. Because again, this is not a righty. This is a lefty. Ball comes out hot. He has good velocity on the ball. He can extend the plays by moving the pocket. He can run, but the problem is like I'm looking at the chemistry, and that's my main concern. Because if it's not there, then I that's another L, and that's just us falling further back from the playoffs at that point.
Yeah, I'm of the thought that the thought process that you guys are 6-6, Tampa Bay is 6-6. You guys could probably win this division with 9 or 10 wins, 5 games left. So 9 or 10 is definitely possible. I would definitely keep Kurt in until I'm probably out of mathematically eliminated from contention, unless you really feel that Penix is there and he's ready to go. If you're going to be experimenting out there, then you probably shouldn't throw him out there. You let the veteran keep you in the hunt as long as possible. You fall out of the hunt, and you might want to talk about putting Penix out there, because who knows? We've seen some of these other guys have some success this year, but maybe Penix is a guy who needs to sit a year or two before he gets out there. So I'm of the thought process: leave Kurt out there and see what happens. With that being said, what's your confidence level, Lady E? What's your confidence level that your Atlanta Falcons can finish the deal and win this division?
I already said we were going to be a 10-win team. I can definitely see 9, but I definitely said that we can be a 10-win team. So some of my fans were 11, 12. I'm not that one. I was being realistic that this is still the Falcons. We still have holes that we did not fill. We still have things that we still have to work on. My whole goal was get to the playoffs. We won the division, cool. We don't win the division, all right, we fine. Get to the playoffs. That's my thing. So we still can get to it. A lot of people said that this division could be a 9-10 win division anyway. So again, I can see that, definitely can see that. So I still have confidence that my team can legitimately get there. I just need better quarterback play from Kirk. I need that. I mean, I need my defense. If I can get that same performance that they performed last week, I'm good. But I need more from Kirk. I need more from Kirk. I need more. I need you to be that vet, and I need you to do it. Remember, you got a dude that can take your spot in year 2, and we can trade you off. Remember that.
More from you, Kirk. She need more from you, Kirk.
Let's talk about I need Kirk.
Let's talk about the NFC West a little bit. A division here where the first place Seattle Seahawks is 7-5. The last place San Francisco 49ers are 5-7. Nobody's run away with the division. Arizona and the Rams are both 6-6 in this division, so very much in the hunt for the division. who do you see as the best team now? San Fran has suffered some injuries. We saw CMC probably going to be out for the rest of the year, along with IU. Who's the best team in your estimation in this division?
Haven't show me anything yet in the West. I feel like it's still a tight race between Seattle, Rams. You can even throw the Cardinals in there. I do think the 49ers, with the depth with the injuries to CMC and kind of like the injuries that they had over the course of the season, I just don't think that they have enough to kind of keep up in that race. It will take for two of those teams, the top two teams, to fall for even San Francisco to even possibly get in there with that. But I just feel like right now, I don't really see anybody running away with it per se. Again, that's another division that can look like that could be really a 9 or 10 win division over there as well.
Right.
And it could be a shocker who possibly win that division. But I would say that nobody on that side has took off. Rams look good one game and then they look a mess another game. Seattle the same way. They beat us, look good with us, and then lost. And Cardinals just been a sneaky team all season. You give them too much opportunity, they can really beat you. So again, that one just kind of really much shows me right now the West is going to be a tight race. I feel like it's going to come down probably to like the last games of the season, probably like the last 2 games of the season to kind of really distinguish who's going where with them.
I agree with you. I'm really surprised at the fall off, if you will, of San Francisco. A lot of it has been injury infused. But again, though, just wasn't expecting them to kind of have this type of season. I'm really kind of like, if they lose a game or two in the next 2 to 3 weeks, you can pretty much stick a fork in them. They're going to be done. But again, I've been, as equally as, I don't want to say disappointed, but as surprised as I am in the San Francisco's downfall, I am equally surprised in Arizona's, comeuppance, if you will. They definitely look down with Kyler. The defense is playing better now. You still got that up and down yo-yo type play that you're going to get from Kyler that you don't quite know what to expect. But again, though, they're a solid team. I like what Seattle's doing. I think I'm going to give the edge, and it might be just, a little bit of Matt Stafford bias here, but I think that when he's healthy, he's the best quarterback over there. When that team is healthy, they probably have the best group of skill position players with Puka and Cup. And the running back current, I can't think of his name, but Williams over there. So
over there, yeah.
I think I'm going to give them a slight edge, but I'm with you, though. It could be Seattle. It could be Arizona. It can be the Rams. And it could come down right to that last week of games. So interesting and eagerly awaiting to see what happens in this division.
Yeah. The NFC West is going to you remember how when we all used to blame the NFC East messing up the playoffs because of their division? NFC West might be that one this year. They may be that one. They may be that one to actually kind of, in a sense, mess it up for a couple of people because of their play. And that's very weird because normally we see the NFC West as being that powerhouse conference. Not conference, division. Look, I'm getting conference division, but it used to be that powerhouse. So I see that. So I know we got 9 minutes to kick off because I know Hen wants to see his Lions. So
listen, we're gonna take our time. We ain't gotta go.
Okay.
We're gonna speed it up a little bit. We're gonna speed up a little bit. That's okay. Anytime with you was good time, lady. Anytime with you was good time.
No, and that's fine. I know you want to watch your boys. I know that. I know you want to watch your boys. So I'm giving you the opportunity to do that. But NFC North looking very competitive. All teams are looking very competitive up there with the NFC North, with the Detroit Lions actually leading the North right now. So it's going to be a battle for that number 2 spot, to be honest with you. But even though Chicago is not playing well, they're still a competitive team. I will give Chicago that. But you do have the battle between the Vikings and Green Bay at this point in time for that number 2 spot. So what do you see about your division? Because again, I feel like you guys at this point are solidified. Y'all are going to probably run away with the division title. But what do you feel about Green Bay and the Vikings right now?
I'm gonna tell you. Now, I said this whole offseason that the NFC North is going to be one of the most, if not the most exciting division in football. I really felt that in my heart, but I was just thinking like style of play and players. I did not foresee, and I thought we were going to possibly get 3 to possibly 4 playoffs. I know 4 is kind of outlandish, but I thought we could possibly get 3 playoff teams, but I did not see 3 teams sitting at 9 wins in week, what week is this? 14? I did not see that one. So I'm a little surprised. I thought Minnesota would fade a little bit. I'm surprised at them be doing it with Sam Darnold. That's kind of amazing. Green Bay is kind of where I thought they would be. When you look at Chicago is a poorly taking management, a Hail Mary, a block kick. They could have 2 to 3 more wins right there. So we're talking about a team that could possibly be at 7 wins themselves. So the division is tough. We're facing a lot of injuries. The year has been great so far for us, but again, we're going to have a tough game tonight. Again, depth is going to be an issue for us going down the as we get closer to the playoffs. That's going to be our biggest factor, almost as great as any opponents. Still got some tough games of Buffalo, as well as another game with Green Bay tonight, another game with Minnesota, and another game with Chicago. So, and then a game with San Francisco. So the road is not. We're close, but we're not done. We got a lot of work still to be done. So I'm looking forward to it. And tonight is going to be a great, great game. So definitely get your popcorn, get your food, get your favorite vice, and sit up and enjoy a great game. We shouldn't have a sleeper today. Both of these teams played last Thursday, so they got a full week. You know what I'm saying, of rest and preparation. This is a divisional game, so we're very, very familiar with this team, and it's somewhat of a rivalry. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting game tonight, man. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, so this is going to be a good game. We're going to see. I feel like Jordan Love, honestly, competitive wise, I feel like he's kind of been up and down a little bit too this season. I'm not going to say he looks bad. But I feel like last season we really got to see Jordan Love, and I think this is like that sophomore little slump a little bit that he's going through. And I'm not trying to call him a sophomore, but that second season of being a full starter starts to hit you a little bit. So definitely want to see what he can do against you guys' defense, kind of going against y'all a little bit, especially since it's a division rivalry, see what it comes down to. And y'all playing at home. Yes, y'all are playing at home tonight.
We are. So. It's crunk. It's crunk out here, too. It's crunk out here, but the city is a buzz. The city is a buzz, baby. It's cold in the D, but they out.
Yeah, it is cold in the D. It's cold in the A, too. So, put some heat on. But no, we are going to save our picks because DT is not here. He is actually on UNC duty tonight. So we will update you guys next week with where everybody is as far as their picks goes. But we do have the games of the week for this week. Give me your thoughts about the LA Chargers and KC, and then I'll talk about Seattle and Arizona.
Man, you know what? I got to give it up to Harbaugh. He's doing a wonderful job over there with KC. I hate that J.K. Dobbins got hurt. I thought he would have brought a different dynamic to this game. I think it's going to be a solid game. The defense has been playing pretty well for the Chargers. But I just think that Patrick Mahomes has kind of been heating up slowly but surely as the season's been going on. They've been getting a little bit healthier. They got Pacheco back. They have they signed the DJ Humphries kid to kind of help out on that offensive line. I think this is the time that they start to take it to the next level. So I'm going Kansas City in that game.
All right. I can definitely see that. After the Chargers played us and let their offense get 5 sacks, I feel like KC's defense can get in there and get to Herbert. Shout out to Lab McConkey, though. He is having a incredible season. He did some damage to my defense, even though I was trying to figure out who was going to be on him anyway. So I feel like they're probably going to use and probably use him again. But the Chargers are going to definitely need another wide receiver outside of Lad. Because he did get a little banged up last week too, so we'll see how that one turns out too. Because I can tell that
Quinn can't catch the ball.
He been like that. He couldn't catch the ball in that loss to Georgia.
He caught it against us. He caught it and took it 90 yards against Michigan. He damn sure did. We ain't seen that, Quinn. He damn sure did. I'm starting to think that tape put him in the first round.
It did, because he sure didn't have no catch with us. He missed one. He missed one that he could have took to the house with us. So
2-3 of them. He allergic to the pin. He allergic to the rock.
We got Seattle versus Arizona. As we were talking about earlier with the West, Arizona is looking very well over there. I do like what their head coach is bringing, what the offensive coordinator is bringing with them. Again, the defense is stepping up. I will give them that because there's been a couple of close games where they could have run. I kind of look at Kyler, look at him sideways a little bit with some of those. And it probably could be play calling as well, but Arizona could be definitely up there as well in that division. Seattle has been playing tremendous and a little bit, but they actually have been having up and down. Geno Smith is actually starting to come around over there with that team as well. But
Jackson Smith and Jigma, he's been making some
plays
as well. Jackson Smith and Jigma's been making some plays over
there. Yes,
he
has. Yes, I was getting ready to say, I'm like, I haven't really been seeing and hearing about Metcalf. I've been hearing about Enigma a little bit more. So I did like that pickup, though. I did think that was a good pickup for him to go to Seattle and be with Geno Smith. So that one was good. But I'm going to give this one to Arizona. I'm going to give this one to Arizona. They're playing at home. Have a little home backing in there. Geno and them, they do well on the road, but they kind of been inconsistent on the road too. But definitely giving this one to Arizona. I think Arizona's gonna get a good little lick in.
I'm gonna pray for Arizona on this one. I got Kyler and Mr. Connor on a couple of my fantasy football teams that we need to win this week to get into the playoff. So again, I need a little bit of luck, a little bit of help from the guys, fantasy guys, football guys, the real guy, all of the guys on this Arizona game.
Exactly. So those are our picks. Again, those are just our 2 picks. We're gonna have a full length pick when we come back next week once DT gets off of UNC duty. But it is pretty much game time. Jared Goff already has red across his forehead from his helmet, so he is fully ready.
That's right. He's ready to play.
He's ready to play. So I just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Again, I know we kind of had to run this a little bit quick for that, but it doesn't matter because, again, we're going to come back and talk to you. And probably once we get done with that, we'll probably go in and start talking a little bit more college, unless there's something in the NFL. But we are definitely going to touch on that college because it's going to be the start of the playoffs by next week.
That's right.
So we're gonna run it. We're gonna run it. That's what we're gonna do. We're going to run it. But catch us next Thursdays for Into the Labs. We love y'all. Y'all enjoy y'all Thursday night, and let's catch us Thursday night football. We out, y'all.